Oh, you coughed literally as I went live then. Good afternoon, good evening, you wonderful people. Welcome back to the Saints Network podcast, your place for all things Southampton Football Club, as we reflect on the Christmas period, the Boxing Day game versus Oxford United, and I had to quickly fix some audio problems. Live television.
You're a sound tech.
Live television. I love live television, but it's also an arsehole.
I did my bit. I sat there and looked pretty. Done.
So welcome back. Sorry about that for the first couple of minutes. We had minor technical difficulties, which I've now resolved and have fixed. Hopefully you people have had a wonderful Christmas period and you've enjoyed that time with your friends and family and girlfriends and boyfriends and etc., wives, husbands, kids. Dogs, cats, turtles, Chinese water dragons. Because the football club have not really helped you out at all. We are going to talk about the Boxing Day game away at Oxford United, which apparently is classified as a football stadium. We'll talk about the performance, the lineup, what we think went wrong, what we think the problems are, how many different ways we can say the words utter dog shit. And then we'll talk about what's coming up, which currently I'm not full of confidence. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, it's not looking good, is it?
No?
No.
Because we do have, normally we would preview the next game. The problem we have at the moment is before the next podcast, we'd be previewing 3 games. And they're not an easy run either, are they, to be fair?
9 points, mate. What are you on about?
We'll see. We'll talk about it in a minute. We've got opinions. We've got some things we want to talk about. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit all those magical YouTube buttons for us. Hit the like button if you enjoy the content. That is completely free. Really helps the algorithm out. The more you hit that like button, the more that you interact on the stream and on the show once the stream is finished, the more it pushes out to other people in the YouTube space who might be Southampton football enthusiasts, and that's really helpful. Smash the subscribe button as well if you enjoy the content. We are very close to 1,200. Tiny, really, but we're enjoying it.
Yeah.
And then hit that bell notification icon if you want to be notified every single time we go live in the future. YouTube will let you know, although it's a bit slow, and you can instead get yourself in Discord. If you're in the Discord server, then it will notify you immediately. And if you're a member, you get extra sections. And it's Christmas; it's a time for giving, so let's give some members away. I can't, but you guys can, right? And talking about time for giving and time to be nice, I've just seen a name that's popped up in chat, Mr. Football Martin.
Yes.
If you don't know Martin Sanders has his own football show on YouTube, which is literally Football Martin. You can see his little logo there. Go find his channel. The guy's amazing. I love him. We need to get him on the show in the new year at some point.
We do.
We've been trying to arrange it, but things aren't quite lined up. We will get him on the show. I'll quite happily come and chat to him as well if he wants. Recently did a very good interview with our own little Leo Cienza.
Indeed, it's very good. Yes, it's a good watch.
I mean this in the nicest possible way, Martin. Doesn't have the views it deserves. So go check that out after the show. Obviously not now, right? Watch this one first. But then go check out that live interview with Leo Cienza. That's the kind of stuff I'd love to do in the future. And he's doing it. He's living it. So big shout out to Football Martin. We'll have to grab a beer at some point in the new year, mate. Right, anyway, let's jump into it. So the first thing to talk about actually came pre-Boxing Day, and there was a press conference that came out from Tom de Eckhart. I say press conference, I think it was a conversation he had with the Daily Echo, and he talked about training at Christmas Day.
Yeah.
He said words akin to the fact that we'd had difficult and frank conversations. We always want to strive for 3 points, so we have agreed as a group we're going to come in and train on Christmas Day. Now, I didn't know we didn't train on Christmas Day. I'll be honest.
It's very unusual for teams to not train on Christmas Day if they're playing Boxing Day.
Right. That was my thought process. So there's a little part of me that was like, does this group not normally train on Christmas Day?
I mean, judging by the way they've played in the last sort of 18 months, they don't really train, to be honest, do they? Let's be fair.
Well, quite. And so, although it was a positive that he's basically gone and turned around to the squad and said, we've been a bit shit, we're going to train on Christmas Day, I was a little bit shocked by it. I was a little bit grieved by it, I think, because, I'm aware that it's Christmas Day. These people are paid tens of thousands of pounds a week, right? I train on Christmas Day for tens of thousands of pounds a week, Ash, I'll be honest.
I did train on Christmas Day. Get him a plate.
Oh.
Get another plate.
I thought it was crunches on the toilet.
No, that was Boxing Day.
So the little part of me I read that, and to start with I was like, oh, that's positive, because like he's had that conversation, he's having difficult chats with the squad, they're not where he wants them to be. I think that's positive that Tonda's going, we're coming on Christmas Day. And then I sort of sat with it and thought about it for a while, and I thought to myself, I feel like that actually isn't that positive because I feel like that shouldn't have been a promotional point. That should have been a given.
No, it's come out in a lot of the press recently, isn't it? And it's because the Premier League cancelled or didn't put many games on Boxing Day. So a lot of the Premier League teams were saying how, because they were playing on the 27th, it was nice that they could have Christmas Day off and then train 26th and play 27th. But I think it's just come from that, which is why it's been in the media.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a bit surprising. Anyway, they trained on Christmas Day. It didn't fucking help, did it?
No.
So the lineup got dropped for Oxford, and I'm going to be honest with you, I mostly wasn't surprised. So Fellows come straight back in at right back. We go to our kind of default 11, the one that Tonda's probably played the most. Bazunu in goal. Stevens, Harwood, Bellis and Wood at the in the middle. We've got Fellows at right back. We've got Manning at left back. We've got Yander and Flynn Downs in front of them. Cienza and Azaz in front of them. And up front is Adam Armstrong.
Yeah,
I was slightly surprised to see Steve. So this is a thing I'm starting to not like about Tonda, and I'm gonna one thing I'm gonna get out there right now, right? Because I've seen this rhetoric on social media, I've seen it in WhatsApp chats, and I don't like this at all. I don't like the way the fan base is on occasion, and I'm going to call out our own fans right now because 4 games ago, I don't think you'd have found many Saints fans that weren't like, he is the right man. He's done incredible work. And then yesterday I saw, and the day before, I saw Tonda out stuff already. Like at what point do fans accept the fact that if we sack another manager right now, Southampton Football Club as a managerial job becomes a poison chalice?
It already is. To a degree.
It kind of is, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, if you continue to treat managers where they have a little bit of a lull at any point with instant dismissal, no one's going to want to come here of any kind of credibility unless we're paying big bucks, which we won't, right?
Agreed.
Martin's fees are now more than Malit's here. I'm not surprised.
We've got Galaxy Ripples.
We've got Galaxy Ripples. We have got those.
those.
We might not have by the time you turn up. So I saw that rhetoric, right? But there is, and I'm not one of those people, for clarity. I'm not one of those people right now. But the change that didn't surprise me, Fellows in, of course, because no one else currently plays that role well. We're told that Yula is close to being back to fitness.
Yes.
He might be able to cover that role in a similar kind of way. But the one that did surprise me was Kwashi being dropped for Stevens, and we have this current swap going on constantly: Kwashi Stevens, Kwashi Stevens, Kwashi Stevens. Jack's been a great servant at the club. He's the club captain. My personal opinion at the moment is that Kwashi offers us something he doesn't, and he should play.
I don't know, instead of Kwashi, what Jack Stevens offers us, and he's changed him. The last 3 games that he changed him, we've lost all 3. And I think that there comes a point where, and I'm going to rant later on when we talk about game management, because it is in the show notes and people will know why, but there comes a point where he needs to stop piss-arsing around with it, excuse my French.
And it's going to get worse.
Just let them settle, because I think Taylor Harwood-Bellis has been better.
Taylor Harwood-Bellis has been incredibly improved under Tonda, I think.
Nathan Wood has been so-so.
Couple of bad, mostly good.
And Kwasi, whilst Kwasi does have a mistake in him, and we know he has, Jack Stevens obviously has got a mistake in him and a red card in him, but I don't understand this need to go away and then drop him, because it wasn't even like... I'm expecting to see Kwasi back in tomorrow night.
Yeah, I am. Birmingham got a fast front line?
Of course they have. Well, it depends if Damari Gray's fit. But they've got Jay Stansfield and stuff, so I expect to see him come back in. I don't know, I just think he just stopped changing it it's almost like he's changing that player for the sake of changing it. And I don't like it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Kwashi offers us something that Jack doesn't. Like I said, Jack's been a great servant of the club. He's club captain for a reason. I feel like we are more petulant children with Stevens in the squads in the first start lineup than we are without him. I feel like there's more finger pointing goes on actually when he's on the pitch. Kwashi, I think, offers more physicality. He's faster. He's taller.
I also think he moves the ball quicker. Jack Stevens has not moved the ball.
He moves the ball. I think he moves the ball quicker. You're right. He's got a slight mistake in him, right? And you're right that because he's young, but also taking him out, putting him in, taking him out, putting him in, taking him out, putting him in isn't going to help him as a young player, because he's at some point he's going to look at it and go, well, what have I got to do to maintain my position? And I think that if you're going to play this wing back formation, if you're going to play this 5 at the back, which isn't 5 at the back because it's 3 at the back, but it's because the wing backs are supposed to sit further forward under Ton's system. If you're going to play that formation, then you need, I think, your 3 centre backs to be a solid. I know where he's going to be, and I know where he's going to be. And I think that when you keep changing one of those people, Taylor is right centre back. I think he's playing quite well there. He did also come out recently in an interview and say that some part of his game is wasted because of where he's playing.
I did see that. Yeah.
Nathan Wood in the middle. He's mostly played well, right? He's had a couple of howlers.
He's been okay.
Yeah, right. He's had a couple of howlers, but he's mostly played okay. Left centre back then, and you've got 2 solid positions. So Nathan Wood, when he stands there in the middle of the pitch, he should really know where Taylor's going to be. Taylor should know where Nathan's going to be, and they've probably got a bit of a relationship going on right now for covering each other. What Nathan doesn't have is that same relationship with the left centre back, because Kouachi and Stevens keeps changing. When they keep changing, he might know that Kouachi's going to go forward for that, but Jack won't. And he's got you have a lot of football. It sounds cheesy, right? I haven't played at a high level. I've played at a high enough level that football with your teammates becomes instinctual. You put a ball where you know someone's going to be.
That's the same for any level of any sport.
Of course it is, right? And at that level, it's going to be incredibly instinctual. And you'll watch players at the top that will play passes where there's no player there, but they know if they drop that ball just in that little gap, this person will turn up, right?
Yep.
And it's the same for defenders. You know if a person's going to push forward or going to drop back or what they're going to do if you play with those people regularly. And at the moment, I think making these constant changes at the back is hurting us quite significantly.
Agreed.
That aside, it's also the same lineup that's probably got Tonda the majority of his wins so far, where we were for a while on crazy high goal averages for 3+ per game.
Yep.
Gone now, obviously, and I think that I looked at that lineup and I was like, I don't like the fact I sat there. I don't know. I'll get your thoughts, but I sat there, and looked at that lineup when it came out. I was like, not surprised. Away at Oxford United, and I was like, I'm confident. I hold my hands up. I legitimately was confident yesterday, Boxing Day.
I'm going to get this little piece out of the way first,
okay?
Because Coventry fans constantly came on and shouted at us last week because
fuck them,
reel them in. Firstly,
I was told it wasn't a classy podcast.
No, it's not a classy podcast.
It's not, we know that.
Yeah, we're well aware. Never happening.
Not calling us not a classy podcast is not what I would consider an insight. It's like, you're getting the vibe. Good,
yeah, good. Happy days. See you in a few weeks. I agree. Actually, it's something that Football Martin said to him. Having watched Oxford a fair point this year, I think they are going to go down. I think they will get relegated. Having said that, and I'll say this now, and I'm going to say it a bit slower in case any Oxford fans watch it and don't want to get it. Credit to Oxford because they did what they needed to do and they won the game. I'm now done talking about Oxford.
We did say that about Coventry repeatedly,
right?
We did.
If you...
I thought they only had a problem reading, but apparently they have a problem listening as well.
Whichever. It's hard when you talk
Maybe they were using subtitles, and that's why.
I use subtitles. Yeah, it's probably explains a lot.
Anyway,
but
yes.
No, they...
So line up. Confident before the game?
Yeah, well, I was. The problem is firstly, we're Saints fans, and you're always going to have that niggle. And secondly, we've just shown it. We went away to Millwall. Credit Millwall in the top part of the league. I know that, and we didn't play well. And then we went away to Norwich, who was second from bottom, and we didn't play well, and we lost. So after the sort of first 20 minutes yesterday, I kind of had the feeling of, here we go again. Like we weren't moving the ball fast. We weren't able to get into the transition, which we'll get onto more on that and the later in the game. I just don't. There's a fundamental problem there, and I've seen people saying it's the players, not the manager, etc., etc. But there is a fundamental problem, quite clearly at the moment, in going away from home.
We weren't great versus Coventry, really. We should have beat them, and we
weren't great versus Coventry, but we still showed a bit of impetus and moved the ball a bit quicker.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that, to be honest, realistically, I've watched the game back. There wasn't really much that actually happened in the game to talk about. To be fair,
it was. I'm gonna be honest with you. By the end of the game, I was thoroughly bored.
Oh, it was a crap game of football.
I don't think it was exciting.
No,
I don't think it was interesting. I don't think it was good. I don't think it was inspiring. I don't think it looked like a team that was about to get relegated from the Championship versus a team that last season was in the Premier League. It didn't look like that. We looked. I don't understand. My biggest problem right now is I don't understand. We're playing the same lineup for Tonda's first 6 games in charge, where he won 5 of them with, like I said, an average of more than 3 goals. Right? I don't understand how we can have the same team against an Oxford side that, and you're right, they did what they needed to do to get the win, but they weren't impressive. They weren't good.
You said you don't understand. It's because they've worked us out. And Paul, I see a comment. Why should we have beaten Coventry? We played 45 minutes against 10 men, dominated the ball, and great chances.
You're right with what you're saying. We didn't deserve to win because we didn't score more goals than them.
But we should have done.
We should have scored more goals than them. We did everything right until the ball got to the 18-yard box, and then we didn't.
But Oxford have done, I've just seen Cameron's comment there, they've done that. They've worked us out, they sit deep, they hit us on the break. Simple. And the other thing they've worked out, as we'll get on to, just shoot.
Because the keeper's crap.
Because our keeper, I think, is something like the 4th worst statistical keeper in the Championship for shots on goal.
I thought he was the worst.
I think it's got better because he had a few saves against Coventry and stuff like that. He's made a few saves in the game yesterday.
Well, so, we started a bit lively. We started all right in the first 15, 20 minutes, right? We looked okay. There was a penalty appeal for Leo Cienza, which, my own personal opinion, is that he's got to be stronger there. It was shoulder to shoulder. I think it was fair. I think... Because it is the one I'm thinking about, right?
Yeah.
So it's shoulder to shoulder. Leo's gone through on goal. The guy stepped into Leo's left shoulder with his right shoulder. I look at that and... I mean, you know what I'm like. That, for me, is a fair challenge. If I'd have been pulled up on that and given a penalty away for stepping across a man who just wasn't strong enough, I'd be like, get to... Like,
I personally don't think it was a penalty.
Okay.
I don't think it was.
But this is the other thing as well, right, is the physicality. This is the thing that annoys me. We don't have all small players. Azaz is quite a big unit.
Yeah.
We know that Flynn puts himself about a bit. Yanda's very clever on the ball, maybe not quite so tough. We've got 3 hulking great big centre backs. When Romeo comes on, he's known for kicking people. One of the things I think we massively lack is physicality. I don't think we have anywhere near enough. And actually, I don't even think it's the physicality that's the problem, because I just talked about the size of the players. I think it's the aggression level.
No, I also think that with someone like Leo in that situation as well, his reputation is potentially beginning to precede him, because he does go over very easily.
He's over very easily.
I will admit, the challenge happened. I was watching on TV. I screamed penalty at the TV. The minute they showed the replay, I was like, oh, maybe not.
Yeah, right, fair. That's fair. That's reasonable. But I also think that... So you said that they set up... Their game plan was set up, sit deep, because teams are starting to learn that we can't break them down from open play. We need the transition.
Yes.
Right? So sit deep... And that way, we're not given the transition. We sit there, knock it about, trying to find a probing hole. At some point, someone like Azaz will try and play a nice pass. He did play a few nice little through balls on Boxing Day.
Yeah.
But he'll try and play a pass like that. It'll get intercepted, and they'll hit us on the counter. That is mostly right when you say they figured us out. Because I think the last portion of that, last maybe 20% of what teams are starting to do, is kick the shit out of us. Because we don't like it. No. The players don't like it.
It's the same. It's the same in the 3 games that we've lost. Millwall kicked us, Norwich kicked us, Oxford had kicked us.
Yeah.
And the transition, and I know we're not talking about the latter part of the game at the moment, but the transition is supposed to be something that we prefer. And later on in the game, when the game was open, and we could have hit them in transition,
we didn't.
We'd taken off the players that were good at leading the transition.
Right, well, this is the other interesting thing, isn't it? So Oxford got the first goal.
Yes.
It was well
He's hit it well.
It was to be fair.
But I've been trying to defend him. I can't. Bazuni's been weak on it, and I know that people are saying it is a good hit. But he's popping on wrist. He's if he has a stronger hand, he stops it. I don't care what people say. he's Tommy Chocolate wrist.
You reckon?
Yeah, I do.
Because I'll be honest with you, when I saw him hit it, I went, fair play, as hell of a strike.
You will always. I did the same. You will always look, and you will always think, okay, my first thought was beating its near post, potentially, but he has hit it well. And granted, yes, he's hit it well.
Excuse me.
But he is statistically absolutely one of the worst keepers in the league.
Well, actually, James has just checked.
Okay.
Bazunu, as of now, has the worst save percentage in the Championship, 64.1%.
61.7, actually, if you read on.
Oh, sorry, 61.7%. I read the first comment.
And I look at it all, it went for a crowd of players, etc. It's just another. It's not the worst goal to concede. The problem is we're getting to the point now where every other game we're talking about a goal that Bazuni's let in that he should be doing better. And we'll get on to the second one later. But
yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I've seen, what's interesting is I see conflicting views in chat, right? Some people saying he hasn't cited it. Some people saying he watched it the whole way. As a person who's never played in goal, and every time I've ever found myself between the sticks, the ball's in the back of the net before I've seen it. So I have. I'll be honest. The same as that one time I tried cricket. Like, oh, there it's gone. All right, okay.
Hey, you scored one.
I scored.
You got
a
one.
Run. Yeah.
Right.
So I can't really comment on this, but it was interesting that a lot of people, and I'm also conscious of the fact that there's an anti-Bazunu rhetoric as well on social media. He's a scapegoat, and on occasion he is a scapegoat. That's being reasonable, right?
But also, just very quickly to jump in on that, whilst that there is an issue with Bazunu with that goal, the other point that has to question it is how the hell has he been allowed? I can't even remember the name of the lad that scored. How the hell has he been allowed to hit that?
Yeah, I mean,
it's Tyler Goodham. He's Goodham, whatever.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because the centre defensive midfielder was sat in the box next to the centre back.
And that's the problem.
We're too flat. We've got no depth.
We either don't close crosses down, or we're not closing shots down. And Oxford had the same amount of shots as we did.
I can't believe how many teams where the ball is being knocked around on the flanks, in and around just outside the 18-yard box, right? And how much space they have all the time, and we don't. And we've got 3 centre backs, 2 wing backs, 2 central defensive midfielders, and we're not closing them down. I don't understand how they've got that much space. Not conflicting that, but contrary to that, at the other end of the pitch, when Cienza picks up the ball, Armour picks up the ball, or Azaz picks up the ball, we seem to be swarmed with defenders. We don't have any time. And what they're doing, and they're doing it right, what they're doing is they're giving Azaz and Cienza and Armour no time at all on the ball. But we don't do the same on the other end. And interestingly, Azaz is one of those that I was talking about earlier. You start kicking him, he goes missing. He does not like being kicked.
No.
He's not interested in that
but
at
interestingly, it was very, and I no one said this yet, I don't know if chat will agree with me with this, but it was very Will Steele yesterday. Yesterday, Boxing Day, we had 71% of the possession. We didn't do anything with it. Very Will Steele. Pass it around, turn back, pass it around, pass it around, pass it around. We've lost everything. Cameron's just said there. We didn't have a press. We didn't have anything.
We did get an equaliser.
Yes, we did.
A Taylor Howarbear's header.
Yes, good cross by Leo from the free kick.
It was a good cross. So another set piece goal. So we do seem mostly to be improved on set pieces.
Yep.
In general this season, which is a positive. So that was a positive. And at that point, I was like, by the time when Oxford scored their goal, I was like, we probably should have been winning at this point because the first 15, 20 minutes was relatively good, comparatively. And at that point, when we got the equaliser, I was like, right, okay, good. We're back on level terms. So let's stop fucking about. And let's put some pressure on these guys. We've got our strongest lineup out.
Agreed.
Right? And we didn't. We just kind of didn't really threaten. And there's a couple of nice little balls that got played through. Leo goes through as well. Sort of weirdly kind of scuffs a left-footed shot, hits the post.
Yeah.
He kind of created something out of nothing there. And then 56 minutes comes, right? And at this point, I think that my fucking jaw hit the floor, right? 56 minutes comes. We are 1-1. We want and need to win this game. Tom's has been in the press literally early in the week saying we're training on Christmas Day because we only want 3 points. And he takes Leo off. Now, I am aware that he wasn't having the impact that he normally has in a game, but he's also one of the only people in our squad, let alone starting lineup, where you can look at him and go, he could create something out of nothing. He could. And he took him off, right, and put on Jay Robinson. He also took off Flynn Downs, and he'd been booked at this point as well.
Yeah,
and put on Romeo, which I don't know what I feel. At this point, this is nothing against Jay Robinson, but taking Leo off on 56 minutes is mental at 1-1 at Oxford.
Tondra has come out and said that this is to be around game management. Now, whilst I understand that he potentially needs to stop, again, I'm going to say it, excuse my French, he needs to stop piss-arsing around and saying it's game management, because we've been here before. This is what Will Steele did. He took Leo off after, an hour at Blackburn, and we folded in the game. when you take Leo, and actually Jay Robinson came on, and out of all the subs, he was probably the best one. And he tried to make something out of nothing. He had a couple of opportunities towards the end.
Absolutely. I actually think it was one of his better impactful games when he came on.
But
he's not Leo.
When that game was in transition in the last 10 minutes, that's when Leo would have been, that's when he would have been at his best. Romeu, at the moment, is looking like what we thought it potentially could be. It's a PR stunt. His legs are gone.
He doesn't look fit.
He's nowhere near the pace.
And there's a lot of people that I've seen online saying we've got to give him time to get his legs back. He's had quite a lot of time right now.
He's been back a couple of months, and if he can't do it, then we need to get Cameron Bragg on instead, or do something like that. Because there's no way that Flynn Downs had picked a yellow card up, venting his frustration at the referee, and actually I don't think the referee had that bad a game. I just think that Tonda needs to have a long, hard look at himself with his substitutions, especially. I get the fact that he had to take Fellows off because Fellow wasn't well last game. We get that. I get the fact that,
but yet again, right? This is my point. Yet again, it's nil. It's not nil. It's 1-1. It's level pegging, right? And taking off your most creative player at that point, and bringing on a man who's got no legs right now at that point, and the formation yet again didn't change for the rest of the game. Now, when we're realising that what we're currently doing isn't working, why don't we have any plan B ever?
We don't have anything.
Because, and this is perhaps Tonda's naivety and his youthful kind of, his youthfulness shining through. Because at a point in which we're knocking on the door here, we're blowing at the brick house and we can't blow it over. So let's stop blowing at the brick house. Let's blow at the straw house and let's make a change. And that change doesn't mean take off Cienza and put on Robinson, or take off Downs and put on Romeo. Nor does it mean take off Azaz and put on Archer. It means take off a defender and put on an attacker.
Yep.
That's what it means. And we're not doing that. And we don't have a plan A hasn't worked because they've set up to defend against plan A. So we'll switch to plan B and they'll have no idea what's going on. We don't have that.
We haven't seen, this is the big criticism that I've had of Tonda, the only criticism, well, one of the only ones as well with the changes, that he hasn't had a plan B to switch to.
Yeah, well, exactly. And then what happens is, to be fair, we have a spell of heavy pressure against their box area. We miss a couple of good chances. There's a couple of good saves made or clearance. It was we were really knocking at the door at that point. And honestly, we should have already scored one or two more, and because we should have had an additional plan. But we were knocking at the door, and I sat there, and I had our folks over because it was Boxing Day. And I said, you can come to my house for Boxing Day food because Ash hates you. And we sat there watching it, and I said out loud, we know what's going to happen here. They're going to score in a minute.
We all knew what was going to happen.
I said we've been hammering them for 10 minutes. They're going to score here. They literally broke away as I said that, and I went, we're in trouble here. And how that was allowed to happen.
So there's a few points that we need to mention. So firstly, obviously, before in that period of pressure, the Oxford keeper had made an absolute phenomenal save.
He had, from Armstrong.
Armstrong.
Yeah.
It was coming and going. He'd made a great save. Fine. Then we put a cross into the box, and it comes out, and we've got no one. Everyone's obviously in the box and knackered. And actually, the interesting point is, and I've seen some people criticise Cameron Archer. He wasn't really on long enough to make an impact. But when...
but he also looks like a lost kid, mate.
When Stanley Mills scores, Archer is the one that has busted the gut to get back and try and stop him. Questions of handball over it. I'm not having it, to be fair. It's too open. He's got past. I think it's Harvard Bellis comes, makes a challenge, and then goes against, then goes past Nathan Wood.
I think
it's Nathan Wood that makes a challenge, maybe.
I mean, it does strike his hand. It does absolutely strike his hand, but it's one of those where, was his arm in an unnatural position? No, probably not. Did he make a movement with his arm towards the ball? No, not really. So if we'd have had that given against us as handball, it's one of those where we probably would have felt aggrieved.
My biggest issue is again, it's the goalkeeper. His position is all wrong. He's not been beaten by putting the ball into the far corner. He's not been beaten by it being absolutely pelted. It's gone underneath him almost into the centre of the goal. And okay. Do you know what? If he was doing well, we'd bet, but we can't move forward with a goalkeeper that can't save anything. And I know he's made some saves, but let's be honest, apart from maybe the one against Wrexham in the first game of the season, a lot of the saves that we're making, we're bigging them up over some very, very basic saves. So that whole goal, the whole thing, and the guys reminded me that it was Romero that put the challenge in. That challenge is pathetic. I mean, the cross into the box is pathetic. The lack of a challenge is pathetic. Romero's lack of a challenge is pathetic. Archer, people are saying could have put a leg in, potentially could have given him a penalty, fine, whatever. But at least he's there. No one else has busted the gut to get there, and I'm sticking up for Cameron Archer on that point. And then it's gone under the keeper, and then the goal goes in, and the camera pans out, and obviously he's taking his shirt off. Of course he has. He's just scored what is effectively the biggest goal of his career. But all the players are just sort of, oh, all right. And then what? We get 4 minutes at a time, and what do? Absolutely nothing. Because we've got nothing.
But then January is obviously round the corner. The window's about to open. Tonder's been in position for a little while now. Johannes Spors has been in position, obviously, for quite a long time now. I'd like to think that between Johannes Spors and Tonder Eckhart, they've had significant conversations about what they need to do in January. And I don't buy the press-facing Johannes, we don't need to make any purchases. I don't buy that. Because yet again, our bench has been utterly ineffectual. You're right. Robinson didn't have a bad game. It was probably the most impact I've seen him make in a game. We're playing fucking Oxford United.
But he also was the only one up the top of the pitch at that time that was trying to do
And when
anything.
you take off Fellows, because Fellows' legs have gone because he's been injured, and your option is to bring on Ryan Fraser, I said at the start of the season I'd get rid of him, and I was slammed for it. Ryan Fraser will do your job in the Championship. Well, so far, he's been a giant pile of utter wank every time he's on the pitch.
There's a moment on Boxing Day where he gets the ball on the edge of the corner of the box, and he just needs to blast it across the box, and he stops and hesitates and tries to go for like that little clever pass back. And
I have always also been aware of the fact that I think there's been a bit of an anti-Bazunu rhetoric, like I said earlier. There's always been this kind of story that he's at fault and he's to blame, and I think sometimes it's really easy to blame the goalkeeper. I'm struggling, and you've never been necessarily anti-Bazunu. I am currently struggling to continue to defend that man because I just don't think. But then the problem I have is, do you think Alex McCarthy's much better a goalkeeper?
No.
Right.
No.
So this is my issue.
So you look at it, right, and there's been a lot of things when people talk about this way. Bazunu's been at this football club for 4 years. Granted, he was a member of the team that went on the 25-game unbeaten run and a big part of the team that got promoted last time. Okay, yeah, he was injured for the last 3 games and stuff, but fine. And then McCarthy comes in, and every time everyone's like, oh, get him up another year, just get rid of him. McCarthy's been dog crap for the last few years. Since Bazunu has been here, Cam just said that he has been relegated twice. He went on loan to Standard Liège last year. They didn't like it. Just get rid of him. Just start again. We need, if they do not go out and get a keeper in January, a first choice starting keeper, we're talking about, there's Patterson at Sunderland. There's also rumours about a goalkeeper from Bayern Munich who I don't know anything about. If they don't go and get one of those keepers, they are seriously, seriously negligent. Because as we've seen, again, who said it? James has said it. We're apparently data-driven. At Staplewood, we've got this big black box. We're data-driven. So who on earth is looking at that and going, yeah, Bazunu's the right choice for a goalkeeper? Because McCarthy can't play in Tonder's system because he can't kick a ball with his feet. As we saw at Liverpool, he likes to pass to the opposition. George Long can't go in goal because we know how awful he is. Matt saying there they put George Long in goal tomorrow. He won't. It'll be Bazunu. We know it'll be Bazunu. And it'll be Birmingham will do the same. Birmingham played us a few weeks ago and we ripped them apart because they tried to play an expansive game. They're missing their captain. They're missing Tommy Doyle. I think Damari Gray might even be injured.
But if they're smart, they would have watched what's happened over the last few weeks and gone, all right, well, we play differently then.
Well, they will. And then they'll just start taking pop shots from range because they know that Bazunu can't save them.
I think sometimes I could take a strike from outside the 18-yard box and it might go in if Bazunu's in goal. Because he
literally.
Yeah, right, well. So here's a question then. How do we fix it? What would you do to fix it? You're going into Birmingham tomorrow night. What would you do to fix it?
I don't think, to be honest, there's not much. He needs to. There's a lot of conversation around dropping the back 5, which I'm all for. I don't like the back 5.
I would instantly drop back 5.
The way to fix it is going to be just
I think we need a Gillette fit.
there's clearly a massive problem with the players in terms of psychological for a start. We talked second halves. And
so what I would do personally is if we get Gillette fit, because I thought he looked Andy before, if we get him fit, what I would personally do is drop to a back four, Manning, probably Taylor and Wood at the moment, and then Gillette at right back, right? I would then move Fellows further up the pitch, play the same five in midfield, but I would have Azaz as a central attacking midfielder role, Fellows on the right, Cienza on the left, Downs and Nyanda behind them. And I'll be honest with you, if Shea Adams is fit, Downs probably doesn't start for me.
Should we go for Shea Charles?
Sorry, Shea Charles is fit. Thank you. Downs doesn't start for me. And then Adam Armstrong up front. That's what I would do.
What would chat do? Put it to chat. Sorry, I've got a bleeding nose. I need to go and sort my nose out.
Oh.
Sorry.
What have you done? You picked it too hard.
No idea.
This is what happens when he picks his nose. Chat, I'm interested to know what you think. That's what I think I would do. I would start to. I think the system isn't working now, and one of the reasons why I think the system isn't working, like I said to you earlier, when you watch players like Cienza, Azaz, Armstrong pick that ball up now towards the final third, towards the opposition's goal mouth, they're swarmed and they don't really have the outlet. And I think you add another player into the mix there by moving another player into the midfield, attacking midfield position, and you give them better options for overlaps, and you give them better options for through balls. I think suddenly you got a better opportunity at overwhelming the defence. At the moment, we're not overwhelming defences, and so I don't. If you can't overwhelm a defence, because what's happening is, and quite rightly so, teams have kind of figured out that we can't overwhelm a defence when we start the ball at the back. So when we slowly build up play. It's very easy to defend against us. It's very easy for people to stop us. So we then kind of sit there knocking the ball around, going, well, we have no route through. They've set up shop. They've got two banks sat in front of us. There's nothing we can do. You need another one or two creative players in there at that point to start to unlock them.
Apologies.
I honestly think, because the other thing as well is it's fine. If you play Fellows at right wing and you play someone like Gillette at right back, right, at that point, and we've seen it before in 4-4-2 systems, I know, it's just sacrilege, but in 4-4-2 systems, we've seen this before. At the moment, right, what you've got Finn Azaz, who's a centre attacking midfielder, sat slightly on the right-hand side. He's got one overlap option. That's Fellows. Yes. If he's fitting on the pitch, right? Because the second Fraser's on the pitch, no overlap option.
And that's the problem, because Fellows hasn't been fit. He's not going to be able to play 3 games this week.
So he's got no overlap option, right?
Yep.
If you've got Azaz in a central midfield role and he drifts out to the right and Fellows is on the right wing, he's got an overlap option. You know what happens when you've got Gillette sat behind him? He's got a second overlap option.
But this is something that we've been talking about all season, because Will Steele came in and said, I played 4 at the back, then played 5 at the back pretty much all season. And it's just... The problem is we're still stuck with one half decent striker, because Archer can't do anything. Ross Stewart is been pictured back in training, but it's still cropped.
Yeah, but he'll play 3 games, do nothing. Play a 4th game, maybe score a goal, get injured.
Yeah, so Damien Downs is more interested in driving into other cars than he is in it in the back of the net. And there's been rumours about him going back to Germany. And a part of the rumours around the fact apparently he's on a top contract, so that'll be interesting to see. I think. What I would do is different. Tonda will go in tomorrow and he'll play the same. I would expect Joshua Kwashi to come back in. I keep saying Jordan Kwashi, I don't know why, but I expect Joshua Kwashi to come back in. And I would expect the team to stay fairly similar. Potentially, I would even suggest that Tom Fellows might not play tomorrow night, purely and simply because of his fitness levels.
But you don't think that at that point it is the footballing equivalent of taking your hands, placing them either side, and just smashing your head against the brick wall? Because you're just doing the same thing that everyone knows you're going to do.
Perfect definition of insanity. But he's going to hope that Birmingham are going to want to play an expansive game at home tomorrow night, which if they're stupid, they will. If they're not, they'll just say, right, fine, well, you break us down and we'll hit you in the last 20 minutes. And then Millwall are going to come to us on New Year's Day and they're going to do exactly what they did when they played us before. And they're going to put 11 men behind the ball and go, come on then, have a go.
The next day we're at St Mary's is New Year's Day, January, yes. And the window's opening, obviously.
Yes.
January transfer window. So you've written here, discuss needs for the transfer window. Well, I think we do genuinely seriously have to look at a goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper, striker, defender. Potentially a winger.
Defender, interesting.
Yes.
Now we are linked with one, but apparently we're racing PSV and someone else and someone else.
We need I would say a left-footed centre-back who can come in and play in amongst those, because Jack Stevens is getting to the point where I'm going to suggest that his legs are potentially gone. And, I mean, Ronnie Edwards nowhere to be seen. He must be absolutely wanting to get out, because he's going to be thinking, can I take another loan or something? Because I actually thought he started to play all right and then we dropped him. Kwashi is good, but we just again.
I like
Cam just made the
Kouachi.
point. We don't have a leader, but we keep changing it. Kouachi, Jack Stevens played. We beat. Who did we beat? I can't even remember now. We beat Charlton, Sheffield Wednesday, QPR, Sheffield Wednesday, Charlton, and it was Stevens. Then he brought Kouachi in for Leicester, and we looked better at the back, and we kept a clean sheet. Then he took him out. He brought him back in, and we lost. We took him out and we lost. He brought him back in and we won. Then he took him out and we lost. And we brought him back in and we drew. And then he took him out and we lost. It's like you can't. You literally are a football manager that said you spend 20 hours or 15, 16 hours a day at training ground. You must surely be looking at those stats around what happens. And yes, you're going to get anomalies and there's going to be different bits, different things around. I just don't understand. What's that phrase that if it ain't broke, don't fix it? Kouachi has come in and whilst, okay, we've not been defensively perfect, we've looked better.
Is that not the exact opposite of what Rasmus Wankinson said?
Well, I don't give a flying fuck, sorry, excuse me, about what
He said if it ain't broke, try breaking it. Is that what he said?
There's stupid stuff and there's too much going on at the moment.
Can you imagine although I don't 100% disagree with you, I really rate Kouachi at the moment. I like him. I think he's got a lot of potential. Taylor Howard, Bellis and Kouachi could be very interesting as a centre-back pairing. Very interesting as a centre-back pairing, I think. But could you imagine if we brought a centre-back in the window and no striker? The fucking outrage that would be out there.
Look, we're not stupid. We know... we're not stupid. Well, not sure. We know where we need to strengthen. We also know that we need to offload. So we're looking at Archer, Aribo, Edozie, probably Damien Downs on loan because there's rumours that he's now potentially being looked at in Germany. Cameron, I've forgotten where it is. Please remind me. I want to say... No, I don't know. Actually, I can't remember. One of the German teams.
Cool.
Yeah, Bundesliga. It's one of the Bundesliga teams. I know that much.
Yeah. Love high fives.
But we need to make sure that we recruit. So the big obvious one is obviously Patterson at Sunderland. Bring him in on loan because he's not playing. That would be a good idea. But obviously potentially they might look elsewhere. Already being linked to defenders. Use the loan market to look for a winger because Edozie clearly isn't going to play. Although I would potentially suggest that give him an opportunity.
The thing is, and Jimmy Cheese in chat says it right. Too many to go, and he's right. But it's very difficult to offload utter dog shit.
It is, but a lot of these guys will have... So, Aribo, I don't think will be difficult to get rid of. I don't think Edozie would be difficult to go somewhere else. I don't think Damien Downs, potentially HSV, thank you, Cameron. I don't think Downs is going to be difficult. And these are wages that you need to reinvest. And the thing is that there's a lot of people talking. If I hear one more link to us for Josh flipping Sargent, I might bang my head against a brick wall. Because we're not going to go and pay £20 million for someone who, in the amount of time that he played the Championship, has only scored 50 goals. And at the moment, West Ham are looking at him as well.
Equally,
they're doing well.
We probably don't have £20 million.
No, we don't. So what we need to do is we need to look at someone who is either... We need a brick shithouse. And that's what they thought Damien Downs was going to be. And he is so far out of his depth.
Yeah, he is.
So
I think the English game is not for him.
We need someone. I mean, you just look at players. You look at Norwich, for example, and obviously Josh Sargent's not been playing. They've got Makama who's come in. He scored the goals against us. Clearly very good at basketball, but has actually been scoring goals all around. And, you talk about people mentioning Josh Sargent, etc. He's got a horrendous injury record.
Yeah.
He's injured all the time. So Ross Stewart can come back on the bench and be brilliant. We're getting to the point now where January is upon us in what are we on now? 28th today?
Yep.
So we're 3 days away, and we can't have any of the stupidity of last year when even Europe sat there and said, oh, yeah, we're going to sit down in a couple of weeks and have a meeting. No, they need to be sitting down on Friday and going, right, what do you need? No, they need to be sitting down, sorry, they need to sit down tomorrow and be like, what do they need? What are you laughing at?
Jimmy, I said I don't think the English game's for him, and he said, Liam, I'm not sure the game is for him. Fair. Absolutely. We're back to part of the problem we had both in the Premier League season and in the start of this season, where I felt like yesterday we had no drive, no real determination, no aggression, there was no passion. Realistically, there wasn't from anyone. And I look at people like Damien Downs, and I look at people like Ross Stewart being pictured back in training, I look at the bench in general, look at your Dozies and your Aribos, and I think to myself, does any of them offer us anything at all? that's remotely exciting, and they don't really, do they? Downs had that flash with that one-touch strike goal that he scored in pre-season. He's looked utter useless since. He is very out of his depth. We'll have to loan him because he's only half a year into his contract. But honestly, I don't think there's a question as to whether he stays or goes at this point. I think if you asked Saints fans, 99.9% would say off he goes. Archer just looks. I'm not sure what we paid for there, because I thought Archer was a proven championship goal scorer.
Well, he is,
and he just doesn't. He looks off the pace. He doesn't have a clue what's going on. It looks like he's running around a bit lost. He chases balls like a happy Labrador, but that's all he does. He doesn't really offer anything else, and he's never really in. And what frustrates me the most is at the moment people have found out that if they shut Armstrong down and they shut Cienza down, we then don't have anyone who's making interesting and dangerous runs. And what we're not doing, or we didn't do specifically on Boxing Day, which we started to do early on under Tonda, and we raved about it on the show because it was something we hadn't seen for a year and a half. And I saw this clear as day on Friday. We weren't making off the ball runs. That sometimes in football, the most important run you can make is the one where you know you're not going to receive the ball. Right? But if you can make the opposition believe that you're going to receive the ball, one or two people are going to go with you. And if one or two people go with you because they think you actually might receive the ball, if you go, player receive the ball, player receive the ball, player receive the ball, the fourth time that you go, it might be that you're not going to receive the ball at that point, right? But the players you draw with you creates a gap. I watch a relatively reasonable amount of NFL, American football, right? They have a ton of plays on American football. Hear me out, though. I know what you're looking like. And often when you've got certain wide receivers, my team, Minnesota Vikings, right, got a wide receiver called Justin Jefferson. He's a hell of a receiver. He hits record-like yardage every year, right? He's an incredible player. And sometimes the most important runs he makes in an American football pitch, and they've got, they can have 90 plays plus, those people. We've only got a plan A, that's it. And he'll make a run, and he'll draw two defenders with him, which creates a gap for another receiver. And we just don't. We didn't do that yesterday. We didn't create any overlaps. We didn't create any gaps. We didn't, because you cannot just run into players and hope the ball you come out the other side. You have to create the space, and then you've got to move into the space. We're not creating that space, and if we do have that space, we're then not moving into it. We just sort of stood there going,
no. And I think there's a lot of it. You talk about Cameron Archer, for example. He did get 20 odd goals at Middlesbrough in the Championship season, but he played alongside someone up top when he did it. So you have to have a look at that.
Yeah, someone potentially flicking on for him and stuff,
Chat, what do we think? 76 people watching live at the moment, only 22 likes. Don't forget to flick that button.
I'll press it again. I'll do
press the button again. Press the image
click,
again.
Ding. I didn't do anything.
No, it didn't do anything. Magic. Come on, do some magic.
I'll try it again. Oh, it's broken.
No, it's broken. It's knackered. But no, look, I'm interested. The problem is that we go for these moments. Now, Adam Armstrong obviously was making these runs and he was doing all these bits and pieces, and you think, okay, yeah, fine, fair enough. Something needs to change. I'm genuinely concerned. I know we're not going to preview every single game that we're going into, but I'm genuinely concerned that we're looking at a bad week. And at the moment, it's not just a bad performance. We are now on bad form.
We're halfway point through the season, as you put here in the show notes.
Yep.
And last time in the Championship specifically, we were in fourth place on 45 points.
Yes.
And we're not.
No, we're in 12th place with 31 points.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, it's not looking strong. It's not. The playoffs are still in reach because the nature of the Championship, the playoffs will probably reach until the last few weeks of the season. I wouldn't, at the moment, be confident in the playoff knockout stages either, let alone the final, because of the way we currently seem to just sometimes turn up and sometimes don't. But we are quite far behind where we were previously. The one thing I will say, I've seen some people in chat tonight say it, I've seen some people on social media say it, very worried about if we don't go up, what that means for our parachute payments, because next season we won't have them and we'll struggle to compete. My biggest issue at the moment is, if we go up right now, no matter what happens in January and the summer transfer window, we're not going to do enough at the moment in one or two windows to strengthen this squad in a way in which it can compete in the Premier League. And what I don't want to happen is for us to promote and get utterly destroyed again, because it knocks morale, it destroys culture.
There's a few things to look at it. I think that there's a We know we need a new goalkeeper, and Sean has just said there that he doesn't think the defenders are necessarily that bad. It's to do with a good keeper to organise defence. I actually agree with that.
I do agree with that, yeah, absolutely.
Because I think Bazuna doesn't give him a lot of confidence. I don't think we're going to go up this season, even if we do hit the playoffs. And I think if we hit the playoffs, we're going to have a bit of a good run because some of these teams are going to have to look at it anyway. I would be very, very surprised to see if Leo Cienza is here next year.
Yeah, I agree.
And
if we don't go up,
I think what we need to look at realistically is your teams like your Leeds that have come down and looked to go straight back up and then didn't. They had another season to strengthen. They've gone up. And okay, yeah, they're not battering down the hatches like Sunderland are, but they regrouped, they rejuvenated, and actually now they sit 5 points clear because, let's be honest, Wolves are gone in the Premier League. Wolves are gone. They are done.
Wolves are making our last season look all right.
Burnley are fighting. They've got 12 points. They're fighting, but they're doing it. And at the moment, West Ham are 5 points deep in the relegation zone. And
I don't see a way out for them at the moment, I'll be honest.
It's going well, Matty, innit? Going well. But they look awful. And then Forest are above them, and Forest have got a European campaign, potentially will do it. I just think that there's a bit around it, and I said to you before we came on air today that I think that there's a lot of people that will be calling for the manager, and I know that they do that. And we didn't call for Will Steele here. We left it as late as we possibly could do because we want to be able to give people a chance. It's not nice to be talking about getting people out of jobs, etc., etc. But Tonda needs to start showing a difference. Will Steele didn't have a plan B apart from just throw everyone on and punch some balls into the box. Well, I mean, granted, cannot be stuck with going back to that. If we are losing tomorrow night, we cannot be stuck. We cannot then play Birmingham and take Leo off after 50 minutes, then take him off after 55 minutes against Millwall, then take him after 55 minutes against Middlesbrough, because you're taking off, it regardless of what happens, and I know it's slightly different vibes, but you take Erling Haaland off for Manchester City, suddenly they might not have as big a potent goal threat up front. When you take, and I know they won the other night, you take Bruno Fernandes out of Manchester United, they've lost their talisman. That's what Cienza is for us. He is our talisman. He is the one where the ball goes to and he gets the ball, bums off seats and people goes, okay, yeah, he's not necessarily been at the race the last couple of games.
Because he'll skip past the defender and suddenly he's created that space I was just talking about.
And that's the point. But now imagine that he skips past the defender and we've not got 5 defenders at the back, we've only got 4, and suddenly there's someone else. Because if you want to go extra defensive, then just put Romeo as a 6, just sitting, and then have people in front of him. But there's a lot going on at the club that we're not sure about. Ian just made the point there. We sat here last week and talked about Tonda getting an assistant manager. Not seen one, not heard anything about it.
Yeah.
He clearly needs a bit of support because at the moment what he's doing is he's going same thing, same thing, same thing, same thing, same thing. And you're like, well, stop doing the same bloody thing. You need to change it at some point.
Tonda's plan A is categorically better than Will Steele's plan A, but he also has the same plan B, which is it doesn't exist. So we'll see. Interestingly, after the last show and what we talked about, both Saints and Coventry were both charged with failure to control players and coaching staff. I think it looks like it's been confirmed we're both receiving a fine.
Yeah.
Little aggrieved when I'm hoping that their fine's worse, but I bet it's not. I bet it's the same.
No, it won't be. It'll be the same.
Because he was the one that incited the fucking lot. Absolute child.
It will just be a little bit of a fine. Don't do it again, and Lampard will get away with blue Scott because it's Frank Lampard.
Yeah, fair. Talking of Coventry, they got another win, so they are well clear at the top of the league right now.
Well clear at the top of the league. They are absolutely flying, and they are, I will tell you now, 13 points clear of third place.
Watford, Norwich, Bristol City and Wrexham all won.
Wrexham was the game of the day. I see Gartsy and Chatham.
3-2 was it in the end?
Happy. It was 5-3.
5-3 even, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, they were 3-1 down, I think, at one point. Patrick Bamford got a couple of goals. Sheffield United have watched it. And then they came up and Wrexham came out second half and was absolutely... Well, they went for him and it was, they won 5-3. Fair play to them, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. And what was the only positive I think I took from the Oxford United game? The only positive. What do you reckon the only positive from the Oxford United game is?
I'm going to guess it's something to do with the team that sit third from bottom at the moment.
So Oxford were third from bottom, and then because they beat Saints, the only positive is that puts the Skates in the relegation zone. I'm clutching, but it's a positive.
They did they got a point at home to Derby. Yeah, at home to Derby, they got a point.
So look,
but
I'm not going to do individual score predictions looking at the time now. We have got a very busy week coming up with what will possibly be an extended show next week. I haven't spoke to you about this yet for reasons. We are away at Birmingham tomorrow night.
Oh, yes.
Home at Millwall on New Year's Day on Saturday.
Woo.
And then away at Borough after that as well. None of them are easy games. I mean, it's a championship, right? No game's an easy game in the championship. But none of them are filling me with confidence right now. I can see us going up to Birmingham and getting turned over, I'll be honest, at the moment.
But at the same time, I can also go up to see us going up to Birmingham being
Score
3-0
5.
at half time.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
I can't see us beating Millwall at all. And I can't see us potentially going up to Millwall. Then again,
I don't know. I feel like we are just flat better at home at the moment.
we are better at home at the moment. The problem is that Millwall are going to come with that game plan. I think Birmingham will be expansive. Like I said, the captain Clara is suspended. Tommy Doyle's suspended. I think Damari Gray is injured. Millwall are still having their injury problems. Middlesbrough, Hayden Hackney bossed a game when he came down here, got sent off against whoever they were playing yesterday, can't remember now, for a wild kick at a player. I can't remember who they were playing. Chat, remind me who Middlesbrough were playing yesterday. Belize.
Football.
And I don't know. We're sat in a position, they played Blackburn, sorry. We're sat in a position where I don't know. You don't know what you're going to get. It's like flipping, what's that thing? Jekyll and Hyde, isn't it? Are we going to get the smart doctor? Or are we going to get the absolutely ugly show? And that the point is, it all comes down to it yesterday. Watching that not yesterday, 2 days ago, watching that last 20 minutes of the game. And the game being so open, that should have suited us. But it didn't.
Yeah.
And that's what concerns me.
Well, that was the last 20 minutes, though, and we'd taken Leo off at that point.
And that's the problem, because Leo is the best player that you want. And I've seen
when the game opens up like that, you would have always been better with him not starting, and then when the game opens up like that, putting him on. I mean, if you don't start Leo, you should get lynched, quite frankly.
Well, I've seen Cam suggest it. That there's almost an argument now that he needs to start potentially changing things. What he needs to be careful is not changing things too much. So does he go for a Cienza, Armour, Robinson front three? Does he go? I don't know. He needs to try something different. He's going to start getting players back.
I've said it. I think the difference is you need to change to a back four and put 5 in midfield. You need to push fellows further up the pitch. You need to put Azaz in a central attacking midfield role in the 10 role. You need to play Leo to his left. So you've got a front 3 sat behind Armour rather than just 2. You need to give fellows an overlap by someone like Yalert. That's what you've got to do.
But he doesn't. I don't think he trusts the defence enough.
But they're fucking leaking goals anyway. So
I just don't.
You might as well have one less. You can't stop them going to the back of the net as it is. So what's the point of having them all there?
The problem that I have is that I worry that we're going to get 4, 5, 6 weeks down the line, and we're going to be sat here going, still playing. And again, I've seen the scenes. Ian said the same thing. It was toxic at full time yesterday. Do you know what? I don't blame it, because the fans have paid their hard-earned money to go all that way to Oxford
on Boxing Day, and watch a shower of shit, because the players who would, we're training Christmas Day, all that sort of stuff. It literally looked like they spent all Christmas Day eating flipping mince pies and turkey. And so often this is part of the problem for football fans in general, right? If you'd have gone up there and got beat by Oxford in an incredible game where the lads battled their arse off and worked really fucking hard, and you lost to 2 screamers, you're gonna be upset that you lost, but you're gonna kind of be a bit more accepting of it. When you watch the level of effort and the level of commitment and the level of aggression that just flat didn't exist yesterday, I think that's when you come away and go, not yesterday, sorry, Boxing Day. That's when you come away and you go, the fuck have I just paid for?
But that's been consistent. Blackburn away, Preston at home, Hull away, Norwich away, kind of Millwall away where we got bullied. And I'm talking 6, 7 games already where we've lost and we've come away going, no passion, no commitment,
no aggression,
no clue. And that necessarily isn't down to the manager. I think Tonda's got a bit more of a lid on it than Will Still had. But that's where they need to look at them and be like, right, fair enough. And do you know what? I don't think necessarily, seeing some of the videos and stuff, I don't think necessarily a lot of the aggression would have been towards Tonda yesterday. But there is also, he's not helping himself by doing things like taking Leo
The club
off.
doesn't help themselves either, right? And I'm going to go slightly off piece here for a brief second because I'm conscious of the time. But the club doesn't help itself. The club trying to be this massive behemoth propaganda machine is not doing itself any favours, and I'm getting really fucking bored of the bullshit their social media team forces down our throats. If we feed them this, they'll all shut up and be happy, because we're not stupid. So I don't like the fact that for the week leading up to his appointment, it was interview after interview for, Tonda's great. The best thing about Tonda is when we're playing under him, we know exactly where we've got to be and what we've got to be doing. Really? Because it didn't show yesterday. So what's happened? So you knew exactly where you needed to be for 5, 6 games, and now you've forgotten. But this is all because it's nonsense propaganda, and it really annoys me because it was always going to be the same team of people. And what he's got now is this team is just it's so fucking emotionally fragile and weak. And the second we concede a goal, it's better because in the past we'd have conceded a goal against Oxford away at home and crumbled and lost two or three goals.
Yeah.
It's better, but they're still just so fragile and it's pathetic. And I'm so fed up of it. I don't understand how you can't concede a goal away at Oxford and go, the fuck are we getting beaten here? Look at what we've got. Look at what they've got. They didn't have 4 stands. I'm not entirely sure it could be called a football ground. And how have we not gone, how are we losing at Oxford? We're fucking Southampton Football Club. How are we losing at Oxford here? And how those players haven't gone, no, not having this. Step it up a gear. And they don't.
No.
And they can because they have, but they don't. And this I think a lot of this comes from, for me personally, I think a lot of this comes from a real lack of leadership and direction on the pitch.
Yes, agreed.
And I'm going to argue at the moment that I think it is worse when Stevens is playing.
I agree. And I think a lot of that becomes down to it because purely and simply, as we said before, and I'm conscious of the time, we don't move the ball quick enough when Jack Stevens is at the back. We don't move the ball quick enough anyway, but we don't move the ball quick enough when Jack Stevens is at the back, and we don't do enough. It pisses me off because that is the sort of thing that I know Tonda can potentially get involved with, but I think he's done, and I'll go on record saying this. I know some people in our Discord have said, Brendan Rodgers would come and sort it out. He wouldn't. I think Tonda's done a very good job to get us where we are, but what we also need to very, very obviously decide, and we said this before Tonda was appointed, he's not a rocket scientist. He's not going to fix everything straight away. He had a good start. I mean, I saw some suggestions saying, can we sack him and then hire him as interim manager again and see if we can get that? But he's still got the same fragile. These next 3 games are going to be a struggle, and then we've got to go into January transfer window, and they need to move, and they need to move bloody quickly. And if Johan Spores doesn't get off his arse and start doing things, he needs to be sorting out deals now. He needs to be going up to players, people like flipping Joe Rebo, and like, right, we found you a club, you're going to go in and just do what he needs to do to get these players off the books.
Yeah, I agree.
Otherwise, fans are going to turn again.
I agree. Right, you guys have been amazing. I hope you have, with the exception of the Oxford United game, I hope you genuinely have all had a wonderful Christmas period, football aside, because I know football sometimes spoils it for people, and it sort of did, but it didn't. I mean, I had a great few days. I actually had a couple of days off, and it was bliss. So I'm aware also you've probably spent far too much money on mince pies and Christmas pudding and Baileys and all that kind of good stuff, and sherry and
Pringles
and 12 tubes of Pringles. And that was just for him. As always, if you want to support the show, the best way of doing that, if you're watching now live or on demand, is by becoming a member of the show. We urge all of you people who don't have green names to become a member of the show, because we currently run this at my business currently pays for all this. We run this at a loss, ultimately. And it'd be amazing. The more people we can get supporting it, hopefully in the future, a year, 2 years, 3 years time, the more we can grow this, and we can have more guests in. They cost appearance fees, and we can do merchandise and giveaways and what have you. It's difficult at the moment because the revenue's not great, and like I said, we are running at a loss. But a big shout out to Galactic Gaz, who gave us a £5 super. I didn't say anything, but just donated £5.
Absolutely,
you're a legend.
Man.
Thank you so much.
Comments every week. Love him.
And Sean himself did become a member of the academy. We've got like academy first team board or whatever. There's different levels. I'll be honest with you, at the moment we don't do a lot for anyone above academy because I don't know what people want. And I was like, hey, maybe some people will sign up and we can go, what do you want as a first team member? A weekly reach around, who knows? But yeah, so thank you for those 2 people for financially supporting us. You're amazing, you're incredible, and I love you all. With that, we're not going to speak to you now until after the next 3 games, and specifically after New Year's. So Ash and I would obviously like to wish all of you a happy New Year. We hope your 2026 is incredible and in every way better than 2025. And you might have had a great 2025, but I just hope your 2026 is better. Importantly, not only are we back in the new year, we are back with our 1-year anniversary show.
Yes, I know.
I don't know what we're doing. We're not doing anything special for it, are we? Sit here and cry about 3 losses. It will be a true anniversary show from when we started in that Premier League season.
Just be sat here with no Christmas jumper on because it's done by then, isn't it? Let's be honest. Yeah. I'm not doing any of that rubbish.
Yeah.
Just looking forward to the next season. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So we do have our 1-year anniversary because Ash and I started it on that Sunday a year ago. quite literally.
It was the 5th of January last year.
It was midway. It was midway through the Premier League season, and I went, "It can't get any worse." I mean, apparently it can.
Yeah,
Wolves,
Super
Wolves. They got some. They're breaking records already.
I mean, Rob Edwards has done a phenomenal job since he's gone in there.
What a great move for him. Unless they were like, "Yeah, we're going down," so come in. But anyway, I mean, they're breaking records at the moment. I think they're the first team in 193 years of the league to not win a single game this many games in.
Well, you know.
2 points at Christmas is not good.
Sometimes the grass is not always greener, isn't it?
Honestly speaking, you know, after the season we had last season, I feel sorry for Wolves fans. Not the players or staff, but I feel sorry for the fans.
I feel sorry for the fans.
I genuinely, because it was last season. You guys will all know, sucked. It was horrible.
It was horrible.
It was awful, and I feel sorry for Wolves fans. So if you're a Wolves fan, I hope your new year gets better as well. Do a transfer show. We will be doing a transfer show, Mark, if we can. We will be doing one if we can. I've got an incredibly busy month coming up. Ash is aware of it. I'm going to be a bit balls to the wall all month. If we can do a transfer show, we'll do a transfer show.
Not like I do the notes anyway, and he just turns up. But it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Doing an extra show is fine, Ash. But you know what I'm up to in January, so it's whether I can fit it in.
Yeah, I know.
Time off.
Same as Gartsy suggested watch along. We have discussed some watch alongs.
We have discussed a Portsmouth watch along in these chairs, haven't we?
We have, yeah. I think it'd be a good idea. I'm just a bit potentially concerned about the language.
We might have to put an 18 certificate on it. Yes.
We might do, yeah.
Anyway, you guys have been amazing. If you haven't already, smash that like button before you disappear. A third of you have done that. It's free, fuckers. All right. Anyway,
all right, that's a bit aggressive.
Before we say goodbye, Ash, is there anything you'd like to say to these wonderful people? A rally cry, perhaps, for 3 big games of football coming up.
Happy New Year, all. Up the Saints.
Up the Saints. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.